It's always such a pleasure to introduce somebody like Destia, because she is a person who has dedicated her entire professional life to helping others stay healthy. She began by earning a bachelor's degree in molecular biology at the University of Washington, and then while working as the clinical research coordinator in asthma and allergy pharmaceutical trials, her passion for real healthcare was ignited. She then continued her education at the Bastyr University here in the Northwest, where she received her doctorate in naturopathic medicine. Her main areas of focus included craniosacral technique, natural pregnancy and childbirth, nutrition, and homeopathy. Today she operates a thriving integrative clinic, Cypress Natural Medicine, in Palo Alto, California, and we are so grateful that she would take time away from her busy practice and all her patients to fly north and be with us tonight. Will you join me, please, in a warm welcome for Dr. Destia Skinner.
Who here has heard of a naturopathic doctor? I'm in Seattle. Oh, yes, yes! Thank you, God! That's the most hands I've ever seen. So that's very, is this a normal?
Sounds great.
Okay, it sounds totally weird to me. So I am honored and I am scared as bejesus because I had 1 week to prepare this. And what we're going to do is really talk about helping busy people get fit and healthy. Nicholas talked to you a lot about how to make our earth a better place and how to grow better and eat better. And we're going to be continuing that. And for those of who in the audience would say they're busy? Anyone here? Yeah. That is the most, my mom who's retired. I'm like, oh mom, no, I'm too busy to do that. I'm like, you're retired. We're all busy. So we help busy people get fit and healthy. That's our job. We do it through a lot of ways. We help you grow vertically. We work with the Juice Plus Children's Health Study so your children can get healthy from vegetables, and Transform 30. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a transformational story time. So we just had a wonderful educational talk by Nicholas, and now we're going to have story time. And my intention is that this story time really opens your eyes so that you can see how simple health can be and what simple steps you can take home to start your own transformation. In that, we're going to be telling a lot of stories, and through those stories, we'll be weaving the research that is just absolutely paramount that's done on the program that Juice Plus shares in terms of the Juice Plus product line and the Transform 30 program. And for me, I'm so honored to be here. I will tell you a little bit about my story first, but really it's about from what we know we should do, right? Everyone knows what we should do. And then we're really bridging the gap to what we actually do. And sometimes it's a little questionable. Who here has maybe done some questionable things for their health? Maybe something they know they shouldn't do. I've eaten French fries when I was doing 30 days vegan. You know, I'm like, it's not really going to work out for me. But so yeah, we've all done some questionable things. But I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So my husband's back there, and I found Juice Plus 19 years ago. So I was literally 3 months past that day. How cute am I? Oh my God. So long ago. I was feeling good, right? I was in my mid-20s, just out of graduate school, and my naturopathic doctor shared Juice Plus with me. But for me, my story was really about my family. Who here is maybe questioning, is my family healthy? How can I support my family getting healthier? Or maybe a little worried about someone in your family. So my story really started because I was wondering, my mom was diagnosed with diabetes and found with blood sugars of 450, which means you should be not alive. My father had a heart attack and had heart disease, and my grandfather had, just when I found Juice Plus, been recently diagnosed with cancer and given 6 months to live. So I was like, okay, that's my future. First, I have to do something to not live into that. And then the other is how can I help them? How can I be of support? So my very first very first person who I shared juice plus with was my grandpa. And my grandpa was a Montana cattle rancher. Just been diagnosed with cancer, given 6 months to live. It was in his bones, it was in his liver. He was just like, I'm just going out, I'm just doing what I'm doing, right? I'm a Montana cattle rancher. I'm not going to make changes. Like, I'm just freshly going to naturopathic medical school. So I'm like, don't eat sugar. And he's like, no, Whoppers are my life. Okay, well, let's take the meat out of your diet. Maybe we can add some more plants. I'm a Montana cattle rancher. So there were a lot of things he was unwilling to do, but he was willing to take those capsules. And every day he took those capsules. And my grandpa was given 6 months to live, and he lived for 10 years. He didn't do chemo. He didn't do all those other things that, would have given him a 90 chance of survival. And he didn't do them because they said you have a 20-30% with this. And he was like, what's the point? And I understood that. But he would take, you can see my grandpa there. He's adorable. He'd go up to his oncologist, and his blood values were looking better, he was doing better. And what he would say is, when the doctor was like, do what you're doing, you're looking great, he'd be like, it's the juice plus. I can hear it, like I say that and I have goosebumps. Like, this is why I'm up here today. This is the reason I'm here. My grandpa. So that's my first, and as you can see, it's also for myself, because I'm in that picture with the black t-shirt. Not the cutest time of my life. So my story continues. First I started really healthy. Then I went to naturopathic medical school. And I was a home birth midwife. So I'm going to school by day, I'm going out to do births by night. I am basically trying to find ways to take care of myself, but I had an absolute, for me, health crisis. I was a few years into naturopathic medical school at the end of my training, and I gained 30 pounds in 1 year. I felt like I was slogging through molasses on a daily basis. I remember at one point we were driving in the car, and this is one of those pivotal, everyone has those pivotal moments when you're like, oh, something's wrong. And Brian went to tickle my leg, and the tickle was painful, and it lasted for a few minutes. And I was like, oh, I feel awful, something's wrong with me. And from that I kind of realized that I was dealing with fibromyalgia, and had to do some things to change my diet, change my lifestyle. I quit home birth midwifery because I realized I wasn't one of those women that could go all day and go all night, and had to make some changes. And I was thinking, what was I doing when I'm feeling better? Because at that stage, I had dropped taking Juice Plus, even though I had seen what had happened with my grandpa. I was in naturopathic medical school. I was learning about multivitamins and high-dose nutrition and all these other things. So I was just going down that road. And then I realized, what was I doing when I felt better? And anyone have one of those moments where they made a change and then they look back and they're like, this didn't really work out so well for me. So I went back and I started taking Juice Plus again. And that made a big difference. But I could see that the reason for what I was struggling with was the stress. And the stress and eating late at night. Who here has had, a 9 o'clock dinner? Or regularly has a 9 o'clock dinner? Right? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's really common in our busy lifestyle. So I was eating late at night. I was eating in the middle of the night because I was in a home birth and up all night. And I realized that the stress hormones that I was putting off were creating all this inflammation in my body. And then the eating late at night was upsetting my insulin. And my insulin and my cortisol were fighting. And they were creating a lot of dysregulation. And I was ending up eating things that were high in glycemic index just to feel better, right? I was just grabbing for a muffin, even though it was whole grain, or I was grabbing for a piece of cheese or something that wasn't good for me. And then I ended up in this chart. And I was pretty much never in the middle. So when you go back, those dotted lines you see there, right? Those dotted lines are the two solid lines. Right? So we want to be in that zone. I was never in that zone. I was always either in spiking my blood sugar or crashing it. Spiking my blood sugar or crashing it. And a lot of us are doing that through the day when we're eating just to get energy, and we're constantly in that starvation mode. Anyone been in that place where like, I have to eat and I have to eat now? When I was at my worst, I couldn't go 2 to 3 hours without eating, or literally I would have vertigo and the room would be spinning. Because my body was just in this chaos mode. And I don't know if any of you have felt that, but it really doesn't feel good. Don't try to create it. So I realized that I was in that. I was either skipping meals because I was in the middle of a stress pattern or a home birth, or I was eating too much because I had just gone home from a long day. And that put me in either burning muscle or storing fat. Burning muscle or storing fat until 30 pounds later, I didn't even know who I was. So then I started on the Juice Plus, and one of the wonderful things that I've really seen with the Juice Plus products, and specifically those wonderful little fruit and vegetable capsules, is that they've been proven, and I've proven it to myself in my own body, and then also they've been proven in typical gold standard double-blind placebo-controlled research to reduce inflammation. And we all know that inflammation is linked with everything. What isn't inflammation linked with would really be the question. Name something it's not linked with.
Good health.
Yes, there you go. Inflammation is not linked with good health. Thank you, Doug Barrow. And so, as I started taking those capsules again, when I was in that pain, that chronic pain cycle, I noticed that my inflammation started to go down. And again, the wonderful thing is, then the company who is willing to go and put their money into research and do the research that needs to happen, we've proven that yes, it lowers inflammation. But that was way past my time. I just proved it to myself. That was my own little research project. And so with that, you can really see that our behavior can affect how we focus, our ability, and how we feel in our bodies. So then we're going to fast forward, because I have a long story, right? 19 years. So a lot of story. 19 years later, I have a thriving medical practice. I'm doing my thing. I'm using Juice Plus. I'm sharing it with my patients because of my recovery from fibromyalgia. I love it. I wouldn't be without it. I would not take it. I would not give it to my patients because I see such incredible results. And then Mitra, my beloved Mitra, shares Transform 30 with me. She's like, you know, this is a program. She really discovered it through her walk with when she was doing basically the detoxification and the support with women to get healthier, really seeing that was a support for getting people to easily make those changes in their lifestyle. I really wasn't so sure. I was really skeptical. One, because I had been doing the low carb. I had done HCG. I had done all kinds of things to try and lose that 30 pounds. It just did not want to leave me because it was my lifesaver, right? It was keeping me alive. That's what it thought, I think. It was there for long enough. And so I really realized that I decided to try it, right? I'm a researcher, I'm a doctor. I'm going to check this out. Even though I'm like, I don't know, there's too much carbs in there, I don't know about that. But I did it. I did 2 shakes a day, and I was already off dairy because that was a huge component of my fibromyalgia. And then I added 2 shakes a day, and I was already on the trio. So the only change for me was the 2 shakes a day. Right? So I added the Juice Plus Complete, which we'll talk a little bit about in a few minutes. And I lost 8 pounds of fat. Who here would like to lose just a few pounds? Maybe 1 pound of fat or above. Right? Yeah. So we all got a little bit of fat to lose usually. And I got some more, but I'm keeping that because it's keeping me safe. From my toxin expenditure and the toxic environment and the drought in California. You know, we drive down the road and see signs on the highway that say, we have a drought, save water. Like the highway. Instead of don't speed or wear your seatbelt, we have a drought, save water. Like, wow, that's how bad it is. So I lost 8 pounds of fat. And I had way more energy. I wasn't yawning in front of patients in the afternoon, which when they're paying you is a really bad thing to do. Like I'm at a cash practice. Yeah, don't do that. Not a good idea. So yawning in the afternoon resolved. But the most interesting thing for me was I see a lot of chronic illness. I see people that have been around the block. They've been to 20 different doctors, right? They have been told, you're going to live with this for the rest of your life. This is what it is. And after seeing 10 to 12 patients in a day, I would go home and I would feel this overwhelm on my way home, this like sense of overwhelm, this sense of like, I just wanted to like sob on the way home. I thought, it's just my job. I'm holding space for a lot of sick people. That's normal. Then I did Transform 30 and it totally resolved and I was like, holy mackerel smacks, it was hypoglycemia. Like it was gone. My job was exactly the same. The humans I was in front of all day were exactly the same. But I no longer had hypoglycemia. I wasn't riding this roller coaster. I was able to hold my blood sugar throughout the day. That was a huge epiphany for me. And then I couldn't stop sharing it with everyone because I could see it could make a difference. And now I have so many more stories. So we can. And the next transformational story I really want to share with you, and this is like, I might cry and I'm sorry if I do. That's just the way it rolls. Especially because I wrote this talk a week ago, as you all know. But this is Darius, and this is the folder that Darius's mom made for me to tell me about his transformation. So Darius is in kindergarten, right? So he's super cute and adorable. You can see on the bottom, not as cute and adorable before. And Darius is in kindergarten and he's having a tough time. You can see, I don't know if you can see, fighting physical aggression. He walked in and punched a kid in the stomach. During lunch, he punched a student. Like, he was literally getting notes sent home once a week to 2 times a week. And other than that, his mom was having to go before and she happened to be my medical assistant in my clinic. Before she'd go to work, she'd have to go and put the kindergarten class back together because he would not only punch kids, he would tear apart the class. So he was having a lot of outbursts. And instead of telling the story for you, I want to read what she wrote so that it really comes from her heart because this is her journey. I hope I can. I probably could tell it better if I was telling it from my own words. When Darius started kindergarten in the fall, the school assumed because he was a boy, and boys are tougher to deal with, and because his birthday was at the end of summer, being on the younger side, that his transition in the beginning would be a little rough. The first few months were very hard. He would have random meltdowns throughout the day. He would tear apart the class. After Christmas break, the school and therapist met with us, saying something had to change. He was emotionally unstable. We wondered what we had done wrong. Were we bad parents? They wanted us to have him see a doctor for ADHD medications, or to hold him back into kindergarten. To hold him back in kindergarten again. He just wasn't ready. So she came to me with this, like, they met with this whole group of people. She was feeling very like, I don't know what to do about this. And so Dr. Destia and I figured out that the meltdowns, or what we call hangry moments, everyone's had a hangry moment? Who here has had a hangry moment? I've had so many hangry moments. Or, those are my hangry moments, right? I want to cry all the way home. The meltdowns or hangry moments were happening at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., which might mean low blood sugar. After finding out that the complete shakes were healthy and safe for him to try, she came and asked me if he could try to have the complete, and I said, yes, he can. I decided to try Transform 30. We gave his teachers 2 packages of the veggie gummies, and she would give him 1 at 10 and 1 at 2, and he had a shake every morning before school. And then we also stopped letting him eat the lunch at school and started packing him his own lunch. It was probably a really huge idea. The new program started at the end of March, and by mid-April, the teachers were impressed with his behavior. He was not having impulse control problems, he wasn't lashing out, he wasn't kicking kids, and he was no longer knocking all the things down, knocking all the things to the ground when he was frustrated. So he would punch a kid and then go destroy the classroom. He was calm, relaxed, and sweet. No ADHD medications. He's not going to be held back. He gets to go to first grade, that's my favorite part, and he's able to learn and behave. 90-day trial for us was a success. We look forward to the coming year. Yay, he gets to go to first grade. This program was a lifesaver for our family. So that, really, I could end right now, but we're going to share a lot more stories than that. My intention is that you walk away with some simple steps. And we make this easy and doable even in our busy lives. Right? Your busy mom going back and forth from school. You can see more of his pictures if you'd like. He's very cute. And that's huge. And it was all about this. It was all about blood sugar control for him. And getting more nutrition in his body. Getting 45 plants into his body every day like Nicholas does now. He eats food, right, Nicholas? Yeah, right. He didn't used to eat food, now he eats food. Very exciting. And then, of course, juice classes is our favorite thing to do. We see these great things out, and then they go and prove it for us. So Nemours Clinic, Children's Journal of Pediatrics, basically took 30 lean and overweight boys and put Juice Plus into their bodies. And what did we find? That it gets into their blood, and that it improves their insulin resistance, and that is all about blood sugar control. And it reduces abdominal fat mass. So if it works in young boys, it works in Destia Skinner, it might work in you. You might see some lean fat mass, and this is all we do. Our entire premise is grow your own vegetables. Get them in your bodies. If you're not going to, which I do both of, I get them in my bodies in my capsule, and I grow them at home, right? I'm like a vegetable crazy person. Trying to think of a word that wasn't a bad thing to say. But can you imagine getting all these plants into your body every day? What would you feel like? Would you feel like maybe, oh, that's a long way to go back, a superhero? I think you might. I think you might feel like a superhero after that. At least I do. And really, the Juice Plus Complete. It is a beautiful blend. It's not a protein. It's not a protein powder like we so commonly hear. It is a complete food. And is anyone telling me about time? Okay, good. Just keep going. All right. So, and what I love about this is it's a blend. It's a blend of this wonderful non-GMO, water-washed, low-processed soy, which is incredible, chickpea, rice protein, pea protein. It has broccoli, it has amaranth, it has all of these wonderful things for our body to give us the energy we need to sustain our lives. And it has a score of 1, which I don't really know what this means. But it means it's really good to Dr. Du Bois. I know that. It's really rare to find a plant protein with a score of 1. It's a good thing. And I've proved it to myself, and I've proved it many, many, many times with my patients. I know it's good. And so we all get the idea about, who here has had questions about soy? Anyone? Because I'm not going to talk about it if you haven't. Okay, darn it. So the soy question, we do have some non-GMO, water-washed soy in the Juice Plus. And one of my favorite things is, when I was in medical school, I've been in practice now 13 years, and when I was in HPATH medical school, soy was, it was like the savior of food, right? It's going to, like, save the world. And then all of a sudden, I'm 5 years out in practice, and now it's the devil. You're going to die if you eat soy. And it made no sense. Like, how could that be true? So I did my own. I went in, I did the research, I got on PubMed. I really looked at the actual research on soy. I spent hours. I was up till 2 in the morning. I came in the middle of the night and was like, woke my husband up. I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is insane. Because there's so much good research on soy. There is so much on clean, good soy. It's not all the research that's out there in terms of negativity is a lot of the isolated, fragmented, but as a whole food, it has incredible good research. Breast cancer, shown to lower breast cancer. Prostate cancer for you men. That means it's good for men. I've never seen a man boob. I've seen so many men on soy. My husband, would you stand up and show us your boobs, honey? We have the complete shape every day. He has no man boobs. Doug, would you like to show us yours? So, you know, the things that are out there really, I think there's a little bit of propagation in terms of dairy industry, because what is the biggest, what is the biggest fighter, what is the biggest money power? Soy was coming to the plate in terms of people willing to do it, and I think it was something that they thought, you know what, we'll put a little bit out there on the internet and propagate what's negative out there and see where it goes. If you're going to avoid hormones, don't eat meat. And if you're going to avoid like what we call phytohormones, don't eat anything but rocks. So you've got two choices, and that's how I see it. So enough of the soy. If you want to question me on any of it, I'd be happy to talk with you after. That's my story. Eat vegetables. We know what to eat, right? Did our moms tell us that? Did our grandmas tell us that? Everybody. Media, we're really clear on that. Even the doctors, naturopathic doctor to oncologist to blah, 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 blah kind of doctor. Who doesn't say we shouldn't eat our fruits and vegetables? Anyone? Is there anyone who says you shouldn't eat your fruits and vegetables? No? Okay, good. We can all agree on that. But why do we continue not to? Because we like the pleasure trap of fat and sugar, and it makes us happy. We like burgers and caramel apples. So we enjoy the experience of food. And so what do? But at what cost? At what cost is that? Dairy's story is perfect for that, right? The cost of, he wasn't even going to get to go on to school. He would probably be labeled and on medications. And it was all because of his blood sugar. That trap that we get into in cravings and what we desire and that up and down blood sugar spiral. And then we have diabetes. There's on the rise. Everybody knows that it's not a question for our children. It used to be type 2 diabetes. It used to be adult onset diabetes, and now it's type 2 because we have so many children with it. And what we do, what I think is the Transform 30 program is really truly practicing lifestyle medicine. Because the biggest reason people don't do what they're supposed to is because they're too. That's right. And we make it easy and simple and doable and effective. And that's an incredible gift. And then they can get their snowball rolling, get things, and then they can do all kinds of changes, whatever they're called to do, because their body feels better and they have willpower. They have the capability to think right. They don't have a crazy brain. And so many stories. I have two incredible stories that are going to come up and share right now. But this woman off diabetic, cholesterol, and high blood pressure medication. With food! Like, that's amazing. 44 plants, what they can do. This woman, diagnosed with MS, legally blind, and on 10 medications. Now, this wasn't 4 months. How long was this? This was over a year. But 7 dress sizes. She decided to change into a vegan diet. She made huge changes. Walking without a cane and able to see. Wow. Like, our body has the capability to heal itself when we give it enough good food. It's just hard to do that. And it's hard for any of us. It's hard for me. I'm an naturopathic doctor. I just don't want to eat that much. I just don't want to spend my day with my head in a trough. So, and this is one of the, we're just going to do a little bit of research and then we're going to wrap it up, but food is a weapon, right? So this is a great study done at the University of Graz in Austria, and it's done on the cobra forces. So really like high stress, high workout, something called VO2 max, which I have no clue what that means, but I'm sure Lindsay does. It means you're working out really, really hard, right? That's all I got. And they took people who were just doing a placebo, which means a capsule of nothing, and they took people taking Juice Plus, and they measured what they call protein carbonyls, which is basically, you know about oxidative stress, right? You know what rust does, right? Our car rusts, and our bodies rust from the inside out with what we call oxidative stress. These free radicals attack our own cells, our own proteins, our own fats, and they break them down. And I think so a lot of the people you saw that got off medications and had reversal of disease, that's because our body starts to heal when it's not oxidizing anymore. I feel way better at 41 than I ever did in my early 30s, right? So, and that's what I call reversing from the opposite. Of course, I had a crash before that happened, which I don't prescribe for anyone else. I don't think it's a good plan. But we can see, look at this, so the placebo group and then the food intervention group. Look at the difference in terms of over the study time and what exercise does to increase the degraded proteins in our blood. And Juice Plus is proven to protect us from that. And over the 28-week period, we saw lower inflammation in the group taking Juice Plus. We saw less sick days in the group taking Juice Plus. And what other kinds of things did we see? Those are the big ones I remember. And then, of course, less oxidative stress. So that's pretty powerful. It's a pretty powerful study. And it actually got some Olympic athletes taking Juice Plus because of it. And what I love about this is unprecedented research. I think we're at 32 plus research studies now done on the product Juice Plus. And in nutritional science, we really can't research. You can't research. There's no placebo broccoli. There's no placebo carrot. So we can't put it to the same paradigm. I don't think it's a great paradigm, but it is the paradigm we have in traditional research. But we can do it with Juice Plus because it's these little capsules of fruits and vegetables. It's pretty easy to make a placebo. And we can see, they're amazing. Look at all the research done over the world at different universities that say Juice Plus is benefiting the human body. And what are they saying? They're saying that it reduces abdominal fat, that it improves recovery from exercise, that it reduces inflammation, improves skin, improves gums, reduces the number of sick days. Who doesn't want to get sick less? I would rather have a well day than a sick day. How about you?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get paid for any of my days off, so I'd rather never have a sick day. Improved respiratory system, improved cardiovascular system. That's over 7 studies on all different parameters of the cardiovascular system. When my dad had a heart attack, the first thing I did, my clinic is in a house, and I have an entire kitchen full of supplements, right? I don't have things in my kitchen, I have supplements in my kitchen because I'm an naturopathic doctor, that's what I do. The first thing I did was send him Juice Plus. The first thing he did was not take it, but we won't go through that story. I sent it to him for a long time, and it built up in his cubby until he finally took it. But that's how important it was for me because of all the amazing research. Gum health, oops, sorry, I don't know why I just did that. Gum health, antioxidant status, it's proven to get into the blood and get into your cells, lean mass and reduce body fat. Who doesn't want a few of those things? Is there anything there that you would like not to happen to your body? Raise your hand and tell me what one you don't want. No, we all want, like, there's some good parameters there. And it's simple, and it's affordable, and it's doable. My grandpa, Montana cattle rancher, not going to change anything. He could take those 2 and 2 and 2 capsules every day. Who here can't take 2 capsules? And if you can't take 2 capsules, eat some gummies. Right? We make it doable, we make it possible, and we make it inexpensive. So remember Dave's Habit? How expensive was Dave's Habit?
I got one free every day.
Yeah, it was expensive. It was a lot more than our top program at $6.50 a day. He was paying maybe for one of his infractions $6.50. Right? But you can get 2 meal replacements or snacks and all the fruits and vegetables a day for $6.50 here in the United States, maybe not in Canada. And the most awesome part is, who here's a kid? Kids eat free! Oh, yay! So for every parent who's willing to say yes to Juice Plus, a child all over the world gets Juice Plus for free. That's amazing. To me, that makes me get teary-eyed with excitement. Every child gets to have Juice Plus for free when a parent says yes. That's amazing. That's one of my favorite things. So it makes it really inexpensive to get a family on it. And what we really do to make it really a huge benefit is something called the Healthy Living Plan. And the Healthy Living Plan is a way, who doesn't like to do things with friends? Besides my husband, he really likes to stay home alone. Anyone else here like friends? Yeah, so everything's better with a friend. When you have a buddy to start a new program, does it make it easier to do? Yes. Buddies make things easier. So if you find 2 buddies who want to do the Transform 120 or Transform 30 or any part of the Transform with you, then you basically can get your product paid for and make a little bit of money. And that is something that I think is really awesome. So you do your own Transform 120, $194.25, and you pay the $50 to have your own franchise, which is how I started out, because I started out for my family. My grandpa needed it, right? My mom needed it. My dad needed it. My husband needed it. So we had a few people in my life who needed some support, and I was willing to do that. And then if you do that, in your first 30 days, you made $409. And all you've done is got some buddies to make them healthier. I think that's a pretty simple thing to do. I like that component. And what I love about this is we do this as we do our life. I love that I share Juice Plus when I'm just sharing my story as a human being. And who here engages and talks with people? When you're on the plane, you talk with people. When you're riding in a boat in Hawaii, you talk with people. Like, I do this as I do my life, as I'm getting my hair cut, as I'm at Starbucks, which I do go to, I just don't go to 4 times a day. As you're on the playground playing, you're watching your kids play on the playground, you're having dinner parties. We do this as we do our life, and that's something I love. So it's a simple program, it's doable, and so it's really, do you want to take a risk and see what this does for you? Because who knows? It might be something that gets your health snowball rolling in the right direction, and it might be nothing. But it's a risk that's pretty simple and easy to take and doable, and the changes might be profound, like so many of us. For me, I wouldn't be without it. I would be chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. I'm unwilling to live a life like that. I want to live a life of my dreams, full of passion, excitement, and mission. And that's why I'm here today. So thank you